Hey, Chad here at PAX South 2016, and I'm so excited because we're going to get to learn about Friday the 13th. So, what is the backstory of how this happened?
We have one of the most unique backstories, and guys like Randy, who's been in the industry for 20 years, and Adam, they've never seen what has happened with us. We were creating a game called Slasher Volume 1 Summer Camp. It was our dream game. We've been thinking on it for 10 years. It was an homage to Friday the 13th, because let's be honest, we haven't had a Friday the 13th game since '89. So we set out to do something on our own. We hired all the right people. We had everyone excited, and then Sean S. Cunningham, the director of the original film, and the license holder of Friday the 13th, saw our game, reached out to us and said, you can have the license for free.
For free?
For free. But like Randy and Adam will talk about, we needed to cover the gap from Slasher Volume 1 Summer Camp, a small indie game, and make it Friday the 13th. So we went to Kickstarter, to the Friday the 13th fans, the diehard fans, and they funded our game, and we got 800 and something thousand, and that was awesome. Right. So right now we're in our slasher backer part of the campaign, where we're trying to fund single player. So,
and where can people find out more about that?
F13game.com, and there's a huge button on the front that says pre-order now, and you can go buy a bunch of exclusive things for our game, as well as help fund single player. So
how do you make that transition from a game that you were making as a passion project to a huge project?
It obviously, expectations increased, right? So obviously the budget had to increase, but just to handle the transition, it's been scaling up across the board. Like, we got to have more people to build the game. We got to have more resources. We got to actually do more planning. We've been adding more kills to the game because we wanted to get kills from the Friday the 13th movie into the game, like the sleeping bag kill, which is one of the ones that we actually hit in our Kickstarter campaign. But there are more that we want to do, right? So all this stuff, everything, when that happens, when you go from the scrappy little indie game to something like Friday the 13th with a big IP and a lot of people that know and love the films, everything has to scale up. The scope just goes, it doesn't go insane. Obviously, we're still indie. We're not published by anybody, so we got to keep it under control. It's a challenge, but it's also fun.
So, sort of the 1,000-mile view up. What is an overview of what the players are going to experience?
Adam, explain.
All right, so it's 1v7, 1 being Jason, 7 being counselors. But you know, we're using the term of convenience, asymmetric multiplayer. But honestly, it doesn't really follow the rules of other ones, where that 7 counselors don't have to really work as a team. It's really 1v1, v1, 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 v1. You probably, to survive, want to have a couple of counselors you're working with. But you know, here's a good example. There's a boat. There's a truck. You have to find parts. If you fix, you know, the boat up, you can get out. You can escape. But there's only 2 seats on the boat. So if you're doing it with 3 people, you have some tough decisions to make. There's only 4 seats that are in the truck. And you know, there's other ways that you may want to be cooperative for a while. You might want to be with the nerdy kid, because we're playing off of all those character tropes that you see in those 80s slasher movies. So that nerdy kid, he can fix that truck much faster. He also runs much slower. So let's say you're with him, Jason shows up, but you can take off running. Because, you know, it's the rule of the jungle. The slow guy's going to got first.
So you'll literally create that moment of, no, don't leave me behind. That's fantastic.
It has happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, when because these guys had already been working on the game, and they approached me, and as a lover, obviously, of the franchise and of horror in general, but when I heard that this is a very different approach to multiplayer, that just seems so exciting, and one of the coolest challenges I've ever seen in game design.
That's fantastic. When are you hoping for release?
So we're shooting for fall 2016. Of course, Halloween makes sense. It's a horror game. Yeah. If we hit our single player, we'll probably have to push it back a few months into the early next year, but that would be a good thing to delay on, right? So.
And once again, where can people find out more?
F13game.com or on our social feeds.
Or on the Kickstarter, it's still up. You can get all the information, see what we told everybody when we were doing the Kickstarter, but there's also more information now that we've launched out of it, so.
Great, thank you so much for talking with me. Thanks. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you head on over to youtube.com/ReedPopOfficial to see all of the interviews and all of the cool stuff I'm doing this year at PAX South. Thanks.